Hello, okay, welcome back to GameDo. So today I'm going to talk about very simple thing about Unity. So for those who know recently about the Unity or Unity engine, so let's make something quite simple or even very simple project that perhaps you can impress your mom or your father or even your friends, and then start doing or start learning Unity from this simple project. So what I have here is only a capsule. So in order to make capsule, you just open your Unity. I will just show you here, and then like this one, go to right click, and then go to 3D, and then find the capsule, and then there you go. So in order to scale up or scale down your capsule, just go to your keyboard and then press press R. So press R and then hit your left mouse button, and then drag it up and down. So this is in order to scaling up or scaling down your object inside your scene. Okay, so that's the one object that you have already created. So another thing that you have to consider or you have to know is that an object in Unity, it has to need a capsule collider or any collider. Collider is just a virtual of object inside this actual object, in order to catch or in order to recall hit or bump or collision. I think so. Just this is a physics. Inside the Unity to record or to check any bump or any hit with another object. So I think I need to show you another thing. So you already have this capsule. Just keep it inside your scene. That's because I have one, so I don't need another one. So I will just delete it, and then if you're going to add another object, just right click inside your hierarchy and then create 3D, and then find another object, let's say cube. So like before, just hit your keyboard R to scaling up or scaling down, and then another keyboard a shortcut that you can use is Q. Q is to freehand, and then W is just transform of this one is transform to move the position, and then this is the Q, and then the E is for rotation of your object, and then R is the scaling up and scaling down. So that's the shortcut. Just play along with the shortcut. Try the E, the Q, the W, the E, the R, and then play around with it, and then figure out the something that you move from your scene here is actually will be determine the data inside your inspector. So so because I have one here, my cube, and I don't need another one, so I will just delete it. So in order to make a simple game and simple movement in Unity, what I think you have to do is this is my camera. I already have camera, and then you have to also make one for your game. Just go to right click again and then find camera, and then there you go, you have a camera. But because I have one, I don't need another one. And then and also direction of light is also similar to another creating another object. Just go to this is light, and then there are many kind of light. Directional light is actually as light like sunlight, I think sunlight. Okay. Point light is like a lamp or fire, I think. So yeah, spotlight is another kind of lamp or spotlight. And then area light is uh, the surface of the surface of the object that through lens of light. For example, perhaps the LED light. You can use the area light in order to have the effect like LED light. And then reflection probe is an advanced light. I think we will talk about it later. But you just go to directional light and then click it, and then there you go, you have directional light. You can change your intensity, for example 0.1, or for example 1 is I think the normal intensity. So because I already have one, then I will just delete it. I will just come here to my directional light. 0 is the intensity is nothing, and then 0.1, and then you can just play around with this lighting. I'm sorry, 0.5, there you go. So just play around with this. I will just put back 1. Indirect multiplayer is how many number, or how many number of intensity that you going to multiply into your object, into your object, inside your scene. Okay, so that's I think so. If you're going to have a plane, this is the plane, like the terrain. Go back to your hierarchy, right click, and then create 3D, and then find plane. There you go, this is plane. So in order to scale it up, just go to R, your keyboard, and then drag here, and then make it length, and then drag in also here, make it white. Okay, so because I already have one, I don't need that, so I will just delete it. Okay, so this is we're going to make a game just with these 3 objects. One is the capsule, the cube, and then the plane. And also the other other is directional, and then camera. Okay, so in order to make game, you need, I think, and you must know about the scripting. Okay, so I already make one. I think I make 2. I think, yeah. This is the box collider. So if you check my cube here, oh yeah, I forget that you have to know that in order to move an object inside the Unity, there are 2 options. One is you're going to have the rigid body with the character collider, and then the other one is you have the rigid body and the collider, and then let the physics of rigid body take effect on your object, and then you make your own controller based on the rigid body. Okay, so because I think like in the future, I think the rigid body and PC controller is a must, because it will give you kind of realistic effect, because there is a physics law include into your controller, the rigid body, the gravity. The gravity affect your game object or player, or even your car, perhaps if you have want to make your racing game, and then if you're going to make your like character involved with the physics. And this is great thing about the rigid body and a controller or PC controller. Yeah, okay. So make sure you have your box collider and then rigid body. To add this one, for example, I will just erase this. Just go to like this three dot on this component. This is component of rigid body, and then click there, and then I will just remove the component, and then I will go to box collider, and also I will just remove it. So in order to add that component or those component to your object, just add component here. Okay, so there are two rigid body. The one is rigid body without 2D is rigid body for 3D. Okay, so rigid body 2D is rigid body for 2D game. So because this is a 3D game, we're going to use the rigid body, and also box collider. There you go. Just type here box, and then or type there for example collider, and then you can find as many collider here. So there are many kind of collider, but for the specific, the cube, we just need the box collider. Other is for like this one is capsule collider is for this one, our capsule, I think. Okay, so box collider, and then there you go, those added to your game object of cube. Okay, so we also need to go to our capsule, and then make sure that you also add the capsule collider, but not with the rigid body, because we just make this capsule as an static object. It's not going to move because we're going to move this box, okay, or cube. Okay, so after that, this is the best part. I think this is we're going to make script. So in order to make script, just go to your project. This is the project panel, I think. Yeah, the project panel. Just go to your folder or make your new folder. Just go to your project panel, and then right click, create, and then there are many options here, but if you're going to make your own folder, create one folder and then rename it. For example, just simple cube project, for example, I think. Okay, then I'm sorry. Okay, then you create your first controller here. The first controller is just, for example, is create, and then C# script, and then name it box collider. And then we will going to see inside the box collider here. Okay, the box collider. Okay, this is very simple. I will just lead you here. Okay, so box collider is box collider. It is mono behavior. What is mono behavior? Mono behavior is the library or build the library of many method, function, and other stuff, tools that use inside your Unity engine. In order to use like void start, method, callback method, update callback method, and then on collision and other method inside your Unity engine, you need to inherit it from mono behavior. So this is our class box collider, and then this is mono behavior. Okay, so first thing, we need to go create our first public float of speed. So we're going to make sure this is the speed of our box. Okay, and then rigid body of the box, of the cube, I'm sorry, not box. This is the rigid body. We're going to instantiate or reference to this rigid body. Okay, so that's only two variable. You can make it public. In order to have the public, is the difference between public. If you not mention it public, the variable of rigid body become a private. What is private? Means that we cannot access the variable from other script. But don't worry, we can also instantiate the rigid body from the script. So I just going to make it private. Or if you like to know what is the difference between public and private, let's say I'm not saving the script before, I think, yeah. Okay, if I make the rigid body public, then inside the inspector here, this box collider script, we have speed, we have rigid body. So we have rigid body field here as a reference, reference. We just need to drag our cube here, the cube that hold the component of rigid body. We just drag it, and then we just put it into the field of our variable of rigid body. That's if the public, we put public into our variable. But since the script is the script is the component of the cube, I think it's better if we just make it private. Okay, so make it private, back to make it private, and then if we make it private, we're going to see that the rigid body will disappear. The field of rigid body will disappear because we tell the Unity that don't show the field or don't show the variable, because the variable is only belong to this script of class. Okay, so don't show it inside the inspector because the variable is only belong to this script of controller. Okay, so that's the difference between public and private. And then so how then we can tell the Unity what is the rigid body? Okay, in order to tell the Unity or mono behavior that this rigid body is something we want from our cube here, then we have to instantiate the reference of rigid body inside our start. Or perhaps you're going to use another callback method like awake. This is awake method. The difference between awake method and start method is the awake method will be called or execute before the start method. So this is the first executed here, and then start method, everything inside the callback start method will be executed after the awake method. But we're not going to use the awake method, and then we just go back to our start method. It's no problem. Since this is a very simple game. Okay, so inside the I'm sorry, I think I have to delete this because this is quite advanced. Okay, in order to instantiate or tell the Unity that hey Unity, my rigid body is something that inside my cube. So we copy this and then put it here. So my rigid body, m rigid body, is equal to get component of rigid body. So this is tell the Unity that, hey Unity, my rigid body is going to be, because my script is here, then I will tell Unity, hey, get component of any object that I am here. So get component. So where is box collider? Box collider is the component of cube. So tell Unity that, hey, find something that equal or something is rigid body. So this is the rigid body. So in order to say that is in code is my rigid body is equal to get component of rigid body. Okay, so we have the reference to rigid body, and then inside our update, this is the key. So many of you are thinking about how then I can move or control my object inside my Unity. This is the simple one. This is the very simple one. So we use the if statement. If input get key, if okay. So many of you asking me questions, what is the difference between this one, get key and then get key down. So get key down means that every time you hit the button, like for example W, so it will just count as one hit. Okay, but the difference between get key means that even when you hit that key, for example the W, if you hit the W and then your hand is still on that W key, it will count as you still control the object. Okay, so the difference between get key down is will count only one for every key that you hit. Okay, for example W, if you use get key down, it will just move once. Okay, I will just show you. Yeah, okay, so let me show you this one. Let me back to get key down, I mean let me back to get key. Okay, so this is get key. So if input get key code is D, then tell. So if I hit D in my keyboard, so this is the explanatory of input dot get key and then key code D is every time I hit the D, what Unity or what the object should do. Okay, so what the cube has or what the object has to do is I going to add force. What is add force? This is the rigid body or P6 built inside the Unity because we inherited from Monet behavior. So we add force and then factor 3. Factor 3 is this one. Factor 3 is like the this is the transform position and the transform rotation and the transform scale. So X, W and Z is the factor 3. Yeah, okay, so there is X, Y and Z is factor 3. So we going to M rigid body. Please add the force for what? Force for factor 3, but the right is the X. Okay, right the X specifically is X positive. So X positive is right. If you have Remember when we learn about mathematics, positive x is right, okay, and then negative is left. Okay, so factor 3 right means is this x right, okay, and then if we hit input get key down a, it means we're going to add the force. What force? Force of factor 3 or the transform position left. Okay, left is also x, but x in negative. Okay, so input get key a, w, we want to move forward, so this is forward, factor 3 forward, m speed. This is m speed. We're going to it is the variable, that public variable that we're going to change inside our hierarchy. So we can change it here. It depends on the speed that you put inside that field will determine the force that affect the object movement. Okay, so get key, we continue. Get key s is for backward, this is back. Okay, so this is the on collision like before. From the first of this video, I'm told you that this is collider. Collider is the component inside the Unity that will record or checking a collision. If any collision with any other object, it will tell that Unity that, hey, I'm hit something. How to check hit something? That we will go back to our code here. So void on collision is pre-built by Unity. This is made by Unity, the method to check a collision. Okay, so we just debug it. What is debug? Debug will not show or inside our scene, but it'll show in our console. So console is like only for developer to see any error, any warning, and any other debug that we create inside our project. Okay, so we will debug.log I hit the game object, and then this is how to tell inside the debug log. If you're going to use like text, don't forget to put it inside the this one. Okay, so and then plus, don't forget to use plus when it combined with your script or your code. Okay, so for example, this is on collision stay. If something is collide with our cube, and this is stay, I mean the cube is stay contact with that other object, then we will record that collision, that colliding inside our name of collide. Okay, so for example, I will just go back to Unity. If something hit my cube, means that Unity will record inside the box collider. Okay, it will record here, hey, I hit something. Okay, I hit something. So in order to let us know what is something that this cube collide, then we put or record that collider in here. Hey, please, if something collide with cube or with my box collider, then put it here. Okay, put the record the data here. Okay, collide, and then in order to know it, then we have, hey, I hit the name of the game object is collide game object name. So because I put Unity put the data of collision with other object, then we can like extract, or we can like figure out what is the game object name. So we just go to collide, hey, please tell me what kind of collide, what kind of game object that my cube collide with. Okay, collide with game object, and then okay, so that's game object. So what is the name of the game object, and then we tell the name of the game object. Okay, so that's how we move our character here inside update. Why we use update? Because update is the callback method inside the Unity that will call every frame. So for example, if you play a game like 30 FPS, means that 30 frame per second, so it will, if you can run that game 30 FPS, means that void update call 30 time every second. Okay, so remember, this is update is very consuming your performance. So I think you have to wise use it, but because this is very simple, I will just put my button or my movement here. Okay, so there are many kind of way how to use the update. For example, you can make your own movement method. For example, let's just say void movement, and then put all in here, and then just call the for example, I will just copy it here and then put in here, and then so how can I control my game object? I will just delete it, and then I will just call my method here. Don't forget to put this one. Okay, so this is actually it identically same, but in the performance this is different, totally different. Okay, so in the performance this is totally different. So make sure you use your variable wisely, use the method wisely, because it will hit your performance. Okay, so that's how we move our object, and that's how we use our key code to move our object. Okay, so other thing that I will show you is this one, the camera that follow the player. Okay, but this is not advanced. This is very simple. So in order to do that is you go to your camera. Okay, you go to your camera. There are two kind. I mean, like, there are two ways you can have your camera follow the cube. One is very easy one. You just put the camera inside your cube by dragging it inside the cube, and then go to your camera and then make the position of the camera. Okay, so there is no script needed in order this method. Okay, this way. So just grab your camera, put it inside your game object or something, or player or character that you're going to control, and then there you go, you have camera follow your cube. Another thing that quite advanced, but pretty simple, is to use script. This is script. I made the script, so we're going to go to the script. This is very simple one, and this is I mean, if you going to learn about Unity better, then this is the best practice of using camera with the script rather than put your game object inside your character. Okay, so I did that because I think for example, if you have like 10 of character and then you put into the character is camera, it means that you have to put 10 object inside your game object or inside your player object or inside your character. That really burden your engine. Okay, and also it will it will hit your performance. Okay, so in order to use camera with script, you just make your script. This is game object, the player to follow, so we make variable the game object. This is because the cube is game object, and then we make the variable that will be a container, I think, container for our cube, game object to follow, player to follow, and then factor 3 camera offset. Factor 3 camera offset is for if we going to this one, let's see, this is our camera, this is I think this is your character or this is your player. So the position between this camera and this cube, they are distant. Okay, they are distant. So the distance between the camera and the cube or your character is the offset position. Okay, so offset position is the distance between the player and your character, your camera. Sorry. So this is the factor 3. Remember that factor 3 is this transform. Okay, x, y, z. So that's the factor 3. If you're going to, if you make your 2D game, that not factor 3, that factor 2. Okay, so we want to calculate the factor 3 of the distance between our camera and player. Okay, so remember we have to instantiate, we have to make a reference of our game object. So here player to follow, so player to follow, because remember if we see here, where is my camera? This is the camera, this is your camera. There is no variable, public variable, in order to be a reference, for the cube to put in here. I will just show you. It's similar to the previous sample. I'm sorry. So if I save it public, then we will see here inside our script. So see, something appear. This is the player to follow. Okay, player to follow, none. So because we're going to follow the cube, we just put cube here. But this is not best practice if you make your complex game. So this is not best practice, so we'll just back to private it. Okay, private it. But because this is private, we have to make our script in order to reference the cube in here. Okay, so we make script here, inside the star method. And then what is the player to follow? Player to follow is game object. So because the cube is game object, so player to follow is a game object, but please find it, the name is the cube. Okay, so player to follow is game object, and find it please, and the name is cube. Okay, so we tell Unity, hey, my player to follow is game object, so you have to find here inside the hierarchy, but please find only cube. Okay, so you have to make sure that you only have a specific one name here, cube. Okay, don't have more than one because it will throw error. Okay, so and then we have figured out the player to follow, and then we have to count the factor 3 cam offset. The cam offset, like I told you before, this is the distance between camera and the player. So that's the algorithm. I'm sorry. So the player position is transform position. So this is transform position, means the player position. The player position. Oh my gosh, why? Okay, sorry. The player position is this one: x minus 2.5, y 2.30, and then z 0.25. Okay, that's the transform position of our cube. And then minus by player. I'm sorry. So I'm sorry. The transform position, because the script is follow cam, right? This is the script is follow cam, and follow cam is inside the game object of camera. Okay, the follow cam is inside the game object of camera, or the follow cam script is the component of camera, means the transform position is the transform position of our camera, not our player. Okay, so the transform position is our camera. Position is our for the position of our camera. So x is 13.9, y is 4.9, z is minus 0.3. okay, so that's the position of our camera, because the photo camera is inside our camera. Okay, it's the component of our camera. So this is the offset of the distance. Okay, so the difference between the previous one, this is I put everything inside movement inside the update, because this is crucial. Okay, so input is something that randomly hit by the player. So in order to catch or to figure out how many input the player hit inside our game, so we need to put it inside update, because remember that update is call or execute every frame. Remember that will execute every frame. So the difference between let update, if you're going to, I'm not quite sure also, because yeah, okay, if you go to your googling, and then let update is called once per frame after update has finished. Okay, any calculation that are performed in update will have completed when let update begin. Okay, so it's quite similar with update, but let update will be execute after the update. So this is also similar with update, once per frame, once every single frame it will execute it. And then this is quite similar, because our camera is also will be follow our object or character every frame, right? So we're not going to have it like laggy or something unusual move. Okay, so in order to make it move or follow our camera, the transform position, remember the transform position is the position of our camera. Okay, the transform position has to be equal to what? Player position, player to follow transform position, plus the cam offset. So the camera position, this one, has to be this position plus the offset. Okay, plus the offset. That's how our camera will stick and into that position, and it will give our effect that our camera follow our object. So that's it, guys. Let's see, let's figure out. Okay, we hit play, and then oh yeah, remember, I will show you also what is the difference between GetKey and then GetKeyDown. So bring back to the script. This is GetKey, yeah, okay, GetKey. Every time let see. Okay, every time I put my hand on W or S or D, it will give force to my game object of cube. Okay, so it will add constantly before my finger off from the button. Okay, it will constantly add 100 and this off the plane. Okay, so that's how GetKey works. Okay, and then we will going to change everything into GetKeyDown. Okay, so remember that GetKey is going to again and again add the force into the game object until I release the key. Okay, but the difference between GetKeyDown, I will just change everything to GetKeyDown. I will just copy it. Okay, and then save it, and then wait the Unity to compile the script. So this is the difference. Okay, and also I will show you that this is the console. The console print everything from the collision. This the collision. Where is the collision? This one. So because we're going to we ask the Unity to print every collision here, then we will also have the result here. Let me just clear it first and then hit the play. From first time we play it, and then we will have the print bar down here. Okay, Unity will tell that I hit the game object of plane. So because this game object cube is standing on the plane, so it tell, hey, I hit the plane. And then let's see what happen if I see I barely can move the cube. Because what? Because GetKeyDown only will count every second we hit the button. It will just add 100, not constantly. Okay, not constantly. So we need to hit that button repeatedly in order to move it. Okay, for example, this one, we need to repeatedly, and then we hit. So we hit, and then we hit game object of capsule. So that's the difference between the GetKey. GetKey is better, I think, if you use it like racing car or character running, walking. So GetKeyDown is better, like for example, like arcade game, any kind of arcade game. Yeah, so because this is we need to repeatedly repeatedly hit that button in order to move the cube, so that get key down. Okay, so that's all I think for this episode. See you guys on the next video. If you like the video, the tutorial, please consider to hit that button, the like button, or share with your friend. And then if you love to make your first project, you can consider this project as your first project, and then share with your brother, friends, and your mom or parent. Okay, if you like to build your project, so you can share with your friend, consider to build setting, and then choose this one, PC, and then build it, and then find your folder, and then hit set the folder, select the folder, and then that's it, everything built. And then you can share with your friends, with your parent, show your parent that you have ability to make your game. Okay, that's it for today, for this episode. See you guys on the next video. So if you consider this is pretty helpful for you to learn your Unity project, and don't hesitate, or please consider to hit that button, like button, subscribe, and share with your friend. Bye, see you on the next video and in the next episode, on the next tutorial. Bye, thank you.